My name is Imani Ellis, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Creative Collective and CultureCon, the largest platform for Black and Brown creatives. And let me tell you, Dominique Fishback is that girl. Hailing from Brooklyn, this Emmy-nominated star made waves with her breakout role in the Prime Video series Swarm, and garnered multiple nominations for her powerful performance in Judas and the Black Messiah. Her creative boundaries know no limits, and I'm so excited to connect with her as we tap into some real talk on all things Black culture, brought to you by our friends at Prime Video's Culture Rated. Dominique, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here. I'm like really cheesy for some reason, so you'll get that for a couple minutes.
At such a young age, you were so spiritually sure. Like, I remember reading that you said, you know, God wouldn't give me this gift because I don't serve a cruel God.
Yeah.
Like, this is my gift. Where do you think that came from?
I don't even know. I was about 12 years old, and I remember being like, I'm gonna be an actress. He wouldn't make me this way if I wasn't supposed to. That would be cruel.
Right.
Like, why would he do that? I had all this personality. I used to do different characters for my family. My mom told me, Dom, you should try acting. You're so dramatic. I think you could really do it. So she was very encouraging about that. I wrote poetry as a kid. She was always really encouraging about that as well. And then when I was about 15, she told me she was having a baby. And so that was a huge gap. And I just felt like, oh man, if my mom didn't know how to get me into acting before, with a brand new baby, she's really not gonna know how to get me into acting. So I Googled free acting programs for kids in New York City.
Wow.
And I found this company. It's called MCC Theater, but they have a youth company, and in order to act, you had to write your own stuff. So every Tuesday from sophomore year of high school until 1 year after you graduate, I would go to NYU and for 2 hours and write. So that really gave me a foundation of writing to act. And that, I think that saved me a lot in general, just going on auditions and not getting the part, but always feeling like I had something that I had to say anyway. So if I didn't get this part, I'm over here writing in the corner, some spoken word, a one-woman show or anything like that, you know?
And so then fast forward, you're valedictorian at your high school.
Yes.
You're going to Pace, you're studying theater. But then something happens in terms of the juxtaposition between high school and college, which leads to this one-woman show.
Yes.
What did that feel like?
I was in the sociology class, and this white boy said if African-American males in low-income communities dress normally, they wouldn't be stopped by the police. And I was infuriated, and I looked around. I'm debating with him, and I'm stumbling over my words. I'm getting flustered, and I looked around, and nobody could advocate with me because nobody came from where I came from. A lot of times, I was the only Black person in my class, and so I told myself, instead of getting mad, Dom, like, he doesn't know. He's only seeing probably what he sees on TV or on the news, so you have to do a thesis to graduate with honors from school. Why don't you do a one-woman show? And so I said, for an hour and 20 minutes, this predominantly white university has to sit in the truth of mine and people who come from areas like mine.
It was so surreal to just see your entire trajectory, and now you're nominated for an Emmy.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
That was truly amazing because we didn't know. Like, the first table read, Donald was like, you know, I don't really know if it's gonna work, but I just wanted the opportunity to try something. And I'm like, I mean, I hear that, but it gotta work. This is my first time leading a project, you know, and I'm in every single scene, so it gotta work for me. But I understood what he was saying, and I appreciated that because, you know, there's a formula for a lot of things, and sometimes when we know something works, we don't want to try anything else. And that's what the industry kind of feels like a lot of the time. And so when you have these specific projects, these specific moments in time, like a Swarm, whether people like it or not, it doesn't matter because an artist decided to do something different. And that's what we're here to do.
Can you talk about some of the sacrifices and how that impacted you and where you are today?
Perception. I felt like I was very afraid of how it would be received or perceived by the industry. Speaking up for what I care about, what I believe, being my authentic Brooklyn. When I get passionate, I talk like this. There's a lot of when I speak, and so I feel like you've been taught, whether through school, or you present like this. Your hair's supposed to be like this. You talk like this. I had speech for the stage, enunciation, standard American, and do you bring that to interviews? Do you bring that to the director and the producer when you're talking about things? And I was so afraid of how it was going to be perceived, so I sacrificed my perception when I did Swarm, because I really couldn't care what anybody thought of me, just the audience, the cast and the crew, but even other creatives when I had ideas or when I thought something was important for Dre, because she is a serial killer. She is somebody that you can overlook, but I still wanted to have respect and integrity for her. So there were certain things in the script that I said, I'm not gonna do that. Here's why I'm not, and blah, 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 but I can do this. And Dre was my responsibility. And culturally, she's my responsibility. And a lot of people wanted to see a Dre, wanted to see a Black character like this. And so if I could do it with integrity and authenticity and follow my own North Node, my own North Star in navigating her, then that was best. And so I sacrificed perception to do that. I also prayed and I said, God, I really want to do this project, but if it's not for me, if it's not what you see from my career and my path, then take it away easily, because I know you can. Because if you don't, I'm gonna go hard as
How does Montauk stay with you? Like, how does it kind of drive who you are today?
Montauk is like in a way that I talk, even the way I walk too. Like it's in my style. I won't necessarily say it's in the projects that I choose, because I choose from a totally different perspective. But my family is still in East New York, in Brooklyn. I got this quote on my arm that says, "Be yourself, love," and it reminds me of Montauk. It reminds me of my community, and so it always is always there. It's embedded.
So Black culture is the sauce. What would you say some of the ingredients are?
Yikes.
I know.
I'm not really even a cook. I don't know how to cook. So I'd say rhythm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, percussive sounds. Soul. Jazz, violins.
Yes.
I like music. I love music. I really do. So I would definitely say there's musicality to Blackness. Whether it's bounce, whether it's smooth, whether it's crunk, like whatever it is I think is movement.
And how music kind of just takes over
the body. So, before, I haven't done it quite lately with roles, but earlier on in my career, I would give every scene a song.
I love that.
Because I knew that going to set, there would be lights and camera, people coming to touch you and stuff like that. And if it's a really heavy scene, for example, maybe if I could put my headphones in and just, if I'm not going over the lines, because I don't want to go over the lines a lot, I already know them, but there's a song that keeps me in the energy and the frequency of the scene, that'd be great. So music really does influence all those things.
And when you think about just culture and just all of the contributions that Black creativity has had, I mean, how do you summarize that? Like, what does it mean to be a Black creative driving culture?
Authenticity, originality. I think uniqueness. I think that a lot of Black creatives think outside of the box. But I think we were forced to, because when you come from areas like ours, I think that you have to be the best. You have to do something that's unique and original in order to be seen.
One of the things at CultureCon, it's all about paving the way for the next generation of creatives. So what wisdom would you share with them, those who are getting started on their creative journey?
Yeah, we spend so much time trying to be what we think they want us to be. I think if I tried to be my own version, like Megan Fox for Transformers, it wouldn't have worked out. I probably wouldn't have got the part, but I had to be Dom. When I really started booking things, is because my auditions, they started to change. I started to do things that was more Dom, For example, I had to do an audition for Blue Bloods, and I had 10 pages the night before, and I had memorized all that stuff. And Marcy Phillips from ABC Casting, she says, one of the main ideas, if someone else is gonna go in this room and give that same audition, then you didn't work long enough on it. Not hard enough, just long enough. And so after I memorized and did all this stuff, I was like, man, what could I do? My character was like this teenager that was getting in trouble with the law, and a woman had to come talk to her. And I said, well, if I was this teenager and I didn't care what this woman had to say, my mom had just given me a heart necklace for Christmas. So I decided to speak with it in my mouth while the lady was talking to me. So she said, get that, and so that's what I did in my audition. And then when I did the fitting, when I was leaving, they said, oh, there's a bunch of heart necklaces. The director said you did something with this, and he wanted you to keep it. And I realized, oh, that was me taking an extra step to something that I think Dom, if I wanted to be really disrespectful, would do. I would do something like that. And when you put your own self on it, it makes it really unique and individual. So I think that's what I would say to them. I would say write your own stuff. I think that really helped me not only being in this theater company to write my own stuff, but they also had talkbacks. We always had to talk about our work, with people our age, but also adults, and say why we wrote that monologue and what we meant. And so I didn't know that I was getting training for this now. I love to talk about the art. It's like one of my favorite things to do. But I have foundation in being a kid and knowing that I had to talk about this stuff. So I don't get nervous to talk about it. I enjoy press. So maybe I would also say, what are the different aspects of the thing that you want to do? I think we might focus, I just want to act. So you can work on the craft, but there's so much more to being a professional actor. I mean, they learn how to walk in heels if you're a girl. You ain't gotta go on carpets. I'm always taking them shits off. But yeah, there's just different aspects. If you can look at what it is you wanna do and look at the full picture of what it is, maybe you can give yourself a little bit of a leg up. Musically, I would say that individuality really matters. And I think I'm not trying to be like anybody else anymore. And that's when I found my own style. And I'm really proud of the music that I make. And the guy that I'm working with, his name is Max, but he said, one of the things that he loves most is that I come in and I take a lot of risk. That's because I don't have an idea of a label telling me I have to do this, what's my audience, all that kind of stuff. Do the work first. Do your soul work first. And then you'll find that there is a home for all of those things because people have been looking for it too.
I just want to thank you for being so vulnerable with me. I feel like I learned so much.
Thank you, receive it. Thank you so much.
That was...
Hey!